HMS Queen Elizabeth is 3 months into a 4-month deployment off the east coast of America.
This is Warship 08, Channel 13 of it.
Her main mission is to test the top-secret F35 Lightning Stealth fighter in the most challenging wind and weather conditions possible. She's already flown into a full-blown hurricane.
But this is great for us, and we now know the jet is really good in very high winds too, which was fantastic.
But now things are about to get even more hazardous.
The F-35 and Queen Elizabeth are now married, if you like, but the task ahead is daunting.
Stop!
The pilots must now try a method of landing never attempted before.
Abort, abort, abort. Wave off, wave off, wave off.
And another challenge will be to launch with weapons for the very first time.
We smashed it. The Americans are looking at us for once with envious eyes.
And not least of all in New York, where the Queen Elizabeth makes a diplomatic visit and flies the flag in spectacular fashion.
It's very moving.
Oh, it's just welling up.
Steer course 190, speed 12 knots, other units as necessary to maintain station.
Yeoman Navigator, flag Foxtrot, port now to yard arm, hoist.
HMS Queen Elizabeth is in the middle of grueling flight trials in the Western Atlantic. But with an important diplomatic visit to New York looming, preparations are already underway.
Just hold it back, hold it back, hold it back, hold it back, hold it back.
At the forefront of events will be the world-renowned Royal Marines Band.
So halt and halt. 2 paces later, the outside files halt. So 1, 2, 3.
They will provide pomp, pageantry and military spectacle to woo the VIPs and dignitaries of the UK's closest ally.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think we forget that aircraft carriers, they are a great political and military tool to have at your disposal, both for warfare, but also to deterrence and humanitarian aid and disaster relief and soft power and important diplomacy, selling British industry, and all those sort of things, which you can't replicate in any other part of the armed services in the same way.
Frank Rochford, the band's only bagpiper, will have a leading role in New York and doesn't want to put a foot or a finger wrong. But to rehearse, he's banished to the back of the ship.
Bagpipe's just a bit too noisy and unsociable, especially on ship. You've got people on watch. You just don't want to be annoying fellow colleagues, so finding time to practice and keep the stamina up is quite difficult. Just getting myself ready for the big event heading into New York. I am planning to play in the front of the flight deck on the ramp as we enter New York. Once in a lifetime event, I would say. Yeah, it should be really good.
Once in a lifetime for Frank, but for Jerry Kidd, New York will be the end of an era.
Navigator Roger, Captain Roger.
Captain Kidd has been with the ship from the beginning, bringing her out of build and taking her to sea for the first time. But natural rotation means it's his time to leave.
While the captain is having dinner, we just get the bed ready for him.
For most of his time in command, Glenn Peters has been his leading steward.
He's always on duty, isn't he?
Yes, he is. As you might see, just there, he's got his comms to the bridge. He's always on call. Just one more thing to do now. Just get a jug of water with a glass, just in case he gets thirsty in the night.
Right.
And then pour on there.
So you really know how to look after your captain?
Yes, I do. And I thoroughly enjoyed looking after him also. I couldn't ask for a better captain.
Officer watch.
Jerry Kidd's command might be nearing the end, but it's not over yet. Far from it. The F-35 test pilots are preparing for their most dangerous challenge to date.
Green light, green flag, climbing in 3.
They're going to try a method of landing that's never been attempted on an aircraft carrier before. It carries great risks, but could revolutionize carrier operations.
On speed 57.
The F-35b is designed to stop in mid-air before landing vertically using immense downward thrust, like a rocket in reverse. But it can only do that if it's as light as possible. Any unexpended weapons brought back would have to be ditched into the sea at great financial, not to mention environmental cost. So the deceptively simple plan is to add forward speed to the vertical landing, flying half like a rocket and half like a plane to give extra lift under the wings.
Groundbreaking, never been done in the world, never been done to an aircraft carrier. And it's called a shipborne rolling vertical landing because the aircraft is going to make an approach to the deck. It's about 40 miles an hour and it's going to come down on about a 7-degree glide path, so about twice as steep as an airliner would make, and then come to a stop under its own brakes. By driving the airplane through the air, we're generating more lift, and that lift will allow us to bring more weapons back.
A little bit tighter this time.
So far, the pilots have just been making tentative approaches to test speed and height combinations. But no one has yet attempted a shipborne rolling vertical landing for real.
So what a shipborne rolling vertical landing is coming in that semi-jetborne mode, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, something like that, and then coming down the hill with overtake on the boat. And then you hit the deck, you roll out, you hit the brakes, and you come to a stop. There are two things that we care about. One is coming in too low, and either having a stern strike there, or the back end of the aircraft, which is actually angled up. So this clearance between the stern and the nozzle there, we don't want that to get too small. So we care about coming in too low here, and obviously we care about that. That's a disaster, that's a disaster. Both of those are catastrophic.
The man who will attempt the world's first ever shipborne rolling vertical landing is Pete Whizzer Wilson. With over 30 years flying experience in the RAF and the Navy, Whizzer now flies as a civilian test pilot.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm excited. Actually, really, I'm tingling. You know, I'm tingling with anticipation for going out and doing it. And about every 2 minutes, I'm playing it back in my head. This is a moment in history. This is something phenomenal that's about to happen, because the capability that this will bring for the F-35 to be able to bring back more weight to Queen Elizabeth means that the UK military is going to be able to operate the F-35 in a way that the other forces cannot.
This will be a first for everyone. Not only Whizzer, but the aircraft handlers too. They will have to be ready for every eventuality.
Option 1, right, SRVL. Yeah. If he misses, he'll overshoot, and then it's just a normal transition to 4-spot, right?
Who's going to line it up?
Billy's going to line it up.
Who's parking?
Ad's just going to park it.
That's them two, so we'll
take it
off. Stand by.
Stand by in case we have to spin it.
The launch checks now, so launch.
Ready?
Okay.
Pass. Ready?
Press permission to launch the jet.
Launch the jet.
What we're about to do with the shipborne rolling vertical landing has never been done before, and we're proving a concept so cutting edge, so innovative. The world's watching.
Whizzer has to get this just right. His rate of descent and speed has to be spot on.
All right, good plateau on centerline.
This couldn't be more critical. He's using vertical thrust to keep him up and horizontal thrust to push him forward. Remember, he's half rocket and half aeroplane.
Slightly high and correcting.
The slightest mistake now, and he could smash into the deck and become a fireball.
Why is the speed not gone to where I wanted it to? Wave off, wave off, wave off.
First attempt too high and too fast. Whizzer goes round again.
All right, 2.3 on the gas. We're doing all right.
This could be last second.
He must now follow the tram lines all the way. That horizontal line halfway down is his point of no return. Beyond that, there's no turning back. He'll be committed to land.
Wave off, wave off, waving off.
Second attempt, too fast, too low. Another 2 seconds and he would have been committed and probably crash landed.
Let's take it around for another go.
They have to do a precise helmet alignment because all the information is displayed in the helmet. If you don't get a perfect alignment, you can't do an accurate approach. So it's just another, and then hopefully we'll get the SRV.
Okay, coming down now. Alright, it's drifting around a little bit. It's below 200 feet. And coming down now. I'm on the centre line. On centre line. Alright, looking good. On centre line, slightly low now. Little low. Indicating good. On centre line.
There's 150 feet, 140.
Committed. Decking. A lot of noise. Touchdown. On centre line. On the brakes. And off the brakes. And stationary.
Beautiful.
Let's calm down a little bit. Got to tell you, that was surreal.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant approach, just what we expected. Landed just at the right position and came to a stop in a very short distance. So, yeah, a proven the first step in proving the capability, which is fantastic.
That was so exciting, and to finally get the first one done and then see it happen just like it happens in the simulator was just the most special experience of my entire career, I think. It wasn't without its stress. You know, at the time it didn't work out exactly perfectly as we intended it to, but we ultimately executed it safely and professionally. We got the data that we wanted, and now we're ready to move on and do more, and I'm looking forward to doing the next one because that was pretty special.
Recover Lightning to 4 spot.
Below deck, where most of the ship's company live and work, the interest is not so much in shipborne rolling vertical landings, but what's for lunch.
I'm down here, I'm on lunch, making cheesy wham bams. Yeah. So, well, cheesy wham bams are the favorite for the Navy. They love it. Everyone loves the cheesy wham bam. It's toast with ham, covered with cheese and fried egg on top. But because this is the best watch, so that's why we can crack it out. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, don't hate the player, man. Hate the game. You know me? That's what I'm saying.
After 3 months at sea, the crew are now a tight community, men and women who care for each other as friends and shipmates.
Captain, sir, on behalf of myself and the ship's company, happy birthday, sir.
Ah, please, sure. That is just very kind of you. Thanks so much.
Sorry, applause.
I was just thinking that everyone has forgotten.
No,
So,
not at all, sir.
You're not 40? You're not 40?
We never forget, sir.
You're not 40 every day, are you?
No, you're not, sir. No, you're not.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. I have to say, I've experienced a lot in life, but I've not experienced such a great cake as that.
Why, thank you, sir.
But also the most amazing happy birthday. Thank you very much for doing it. I'm very touched.
Cheesy wham bams and birthday cakes aside, this remains a steely ship of war. And the likelihood is that those on board will one day be called to battle stations.
I think the threats are increasing as ever, so I think we have to remain strong. Do I think the state-on-state friction's over? No. Do I think the root causes of war is over? No. And therefore we must absolutely remain prepared for it, sadly. The bottom line for any war is it's nasty, really gut-wrenching, visceral nastiness. And I think people forget that, and we must prepare people and equip people for that challenge. It's profound. If I was an enemy, would I want to come up against the Royal Navy? At a choice? I don't think so. We're not the biggest, we haven't got the biggest mass anymore, but my word would make the enemy's eyes water. I guarantee that.
It will be for the Queen Elizabeth to confront the nation's enemies, to play a leading role in some future theatre of war.
Is it? Any of you heard of method acting? Okay? You've got to own the part, you've got to own the problem you've got. And you're panicked because you can't really see, so wherever you go, you need to be guided. You're going to be my pain in the ass, okay? You are in a lot of pain with regards to the burns that you sustained, but you're also a true hero. So you want to get back into the fight and go carry on doing so.
The training we do, it makes it so realistic. Eh? So at least when it happens for real, the first aiders do not get, back away.
Fire! 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 In the forest
I want to fight the fire, man!
Realistic role-playing for every eventuality is part and parcel of training. Today's scenario, an explosion in one of the main engine rooms. Even in peacetime, living under an active flight deck or inside what is effectively a floating power station carries immense risks.
I can't feel my hands. Can't feel my hands.
So, ready for that stretcher?
Keep pulling to yourselves. 2, 6, lift.
The ship has a fully equipped hospital and operating theatre with a team of trauma specialists and surgeons. Stretcher bearing is a secondary role of the Royal Marines musicians.
So bagpipes last night, blooded bodies this morning.
Yeah, it's quite a difference. Going from relaxing, enjoying, having fun, playing music, to now getting stuck in. It's nice to have an exercise so everyone knows what they're doing, but in real life it would be a lot more full on.
The ship is designed for war. Virtually all of its 3,000 compartments have a tactical purpose. Weapons, planning, power and propulsion, in addition to those needed for accommodation or recreation. This might be Britain's biggest warship, but space for its 1,500 people under the flight deck is at an absolute premium, and every nook and cranny is spoken for. Frank is now reduced to practicing in the toilet paper stall.
Bish, do you need a hand? Let me carry something.
And Wes, a devout Muslim, has been searching for a place to pray.
Bish, you should have let me carry it, man.
The ship's chaplain, known to all as the Bish, has found him a cubbyhole.
Especially such a big ship.
Come on, let's roll it. Well, this one, we discovered, is not too noisy.
Oh, we got carpet as well?
Yep. Let's roll this out together.
Yes.
Start down here.
Yeah. Goodness with this carpet is, once I've prayed, I can roll it back up
roll
there.
It up, exactly. It's a bit short.
No, it's all right, Bish.
The whole world is God's world. We share that, so that's the place where we start from. That gives us an enormous amount of common ground.
What is common is what you have to work on. That's what is there. Yeah. Right.
Job done.
Job done. Thank you.
It's sunset. Time for Jerry Kidd to bring his young officers up to date with navigation techniques.
Right, YOs, it's your happiest moment of the day. It's instruction with the captain. In the next war, the likelihood is that satellites will be targeted by the enemy. The GPS signal will be jammed, as you rightly say, or even blocked or even adjusted. So to get across the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, there is no other option but a sextant. And from that, you can gain your position on the planet's surface anywhere to about 2 miles accuracy, anywhere. And here we are with exactly the same design that Captain Cook had. There's nothing changed in that in 250 years, and it works.
No. No.
The star we're going to look for tonight at the end is Polaris, Tungsten. Don't forget to swing your sextant as you bring it down to the horizon. You've got that star there, haven't you? 90, and you've got Jupiter, haven't you? Or you think it's Jupiter. So this is something we do a lot in the Royal Navy, is getting the young officers to learn how to fix the ship using the celestial bodies. And tonight we're doing the planets or stars. GPS signaling comes from satellites. We do know that our potential enemies will deny that signal. Why wouldn't you? It's called navigation warfare. So here we are on a 21st century ship moving across an ocean. The backup is a sextant that was designed in 1770. And it's foolproof, just about. Apart from their maths. Let's hope they can add up. What's this bright star right above it? 83 degrees. Vega. Well done.
New York is now less than a week away, but before that, the pilots must attempt launching with heavy bomb loads for the first time. The Queen Elizabeth is sharpening her teeth. But then a cloud of black smoke rains down strange fragments all over the deck. They call this FOD, Foreign Object Debris, a pilot's worst nightmare. If ingested by the aircraft, this could bring it down.
When they fired up the engines, smoke came up carrying a lot of bits of lagging and FOD with it. Sort of like the insulation that you have in your home, in your loft. They're going to have to investigate it a lot further and obviously try and determine exactly where it's coming from. We've had to cancel flying because of the amount of FOD coming out of the funnel.
But where is this FOD coming from?
You'll need to undo these ones.
The marine engineers quickly trace the problem back to one of the ship's massive gas turbine engines.
The lagging that's damaged is on this side, so we go round and then back.
For Rob Rouston, the gas turbine is like his baby.
What's happened is this cowling's failed, split, let all the air out the side, and that's tore into the lagging, shooting the fiberglass up the exhaust onto the flight deck. But the problem that we have now is how hot it runs inside here. So without the lagging, the temperature's going to rocket and rocket and rocket and rocket in here, and the gassy then will trip itself, rendering it useless at an engine. So the engine itself's great. It's the bits around it that have actually let the engine down. The lagging that's damaged here, oh, this is like your fiberglass insulation. The power of the exhaust has torn this apart, and then it's sent this up the exhaust onto the flight deck, creating a FOD hazard.
With one gas turbine out of action, the ship won't be able to get the speed needed for heavily loaded jets to take off. The all-important bomb runs are immediately suspended.
All right, boys, slide it back if you can. Yeah,
All the trunking on both gas turbines will need to be checked to see why the welding has failed and if it can be fixed.
All our flight plans were damaged due to a bit of stainless steel splitting. The simplest of things, eh? You got multi-million, billion-pound aircraft, God knows how much they are, clever, high-level technology that are grounded due to a bit of stainless steel splitting. It's nuts, isn't it?
With flying cancelled, the ship heads for the US Naval Base at Norfolk for urgent repairs. If the gas turbines can't be fixed quickly, the bomb runs won't happen on this deployment, and that would be a massive setback. The Royal Marines Band must still rehearse for New York.
You got it?
But the real pressure is on the Marine engineers.
Sorry, Chris. It's a bit of a bugger, like.
There's a lot of trunking to be dismantled, checked and tested. It's heavy and very awkward to handle.
You're pushing me, double. Oh my God, very slowly.
But they have to find out the extent of the damage and whether it can be repaired in less than 24 hours. It's a very tall order.
Hey, up. Good morning. How you doing, bud? Morning. You all right? Good to see you guys. Hey, you all right? Okay, get on board and we'll go from there.
These men are from BAE Systems USA. Their boss is a master welder called Lewis.
Just marking all some spaces. I see there are cracks. They are strange though, because that weld crack right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is nothing Lewis doesn't know about welding stainless steel.
That's why I want to analyze it, find out which metal we're supposed to be using.
Yeah.
He reckons the wrong weld has been used, but to repair it, he needs to know exactly what sort of stainless steel he's dealing with.
304, 308,
yeah,
309, 310, 316, 321, and 347.
Right.
All of those are different stainless. They're all stainless,
yeah,
but they're different pipes and stuff.
Yeah. I tell you what, you're making that look hard, aren't you?
The trunking is sent off for immediate analysis. Meanwhile, the laggers have arrived to replace the burned insulation. These guys are no rookies either.
Ronnie and myself, we worked together 40 years.
Bloody hell.
And Bill, we've been together 37.
So right from the start then?
Yeah, we was all young guys.
Property. They still want to keep the sailing window open for tomorrow morning, 0900, so might be a long day for us. It's what it is. I was looking forward to go watching a band in town tonight, but I don't think I'll be doing that anymore, so. A lot of pressure on, basically. The clock's ticking and time's looming on us. What the fuck?
The clock might be ticking, but today is Halloween, and this is America.
What's happening?
We were just looking around and this is what we saw. Like, it was just like, oh shit, it's so much better because you're on a British boat.
Yeah, that is sick.
2 hours later, the cowling comes back from the labs.
Dickie's returned with the news that this is stainless steel 316.
Now the welders know what they're dealing with, but if the ship's going to leave tomorrow, it's still a race against time.
1, 2, 1. The lagging guys have finished the lagging. Incredible, really. They put it together pretty damn quick. Yeah, it's smart, that. Here she is.
Thank you.
The last piss, thank you.
Good, a nice short ending. Staccato ending.
Cheers,
Cool.
mate, thank you.
Cheers, buddy.
For Lewis, the master welder, his work here is done.
Yeah, cool.
So, Rob, what's about to happen?
About to flash up the aft gas. Flash her up, bit of noise. What you can hear there is the HSS, that's the hydraulic start system.
This is the moment of truth.
That's turning the engine over and over and over and over and over.
If the welding doesn't hold up, the engine will overheat and trip itself.
There we go. There she goes. I'm happy.
With full power restored, the ship is back to full speed. The F-35s can now launch with weapons for the first time.
These weapons are laser and GPS guided weapons, but they're actually concrete. So they've got the real front section, the real aft section, but the actual middle section isn't explosive, it's just concrete. For us as testers, we care about the aerodynamic form, but what we don't concern ourselves about is whether the bomb goes bang.
965 gear snowball.
The jets are back in the air, but not everyone is watching them.
Everyone's, oh, jets this, jets that. We got two bigger jet engines right here, do you know what I mean? Like, these are Rolls-Royce engines from jet planes that have been marinised. They're bigger and better.
You're bigger and better than the F-35s.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they've got more wires and more squiggly bits, but if it wasn't for these two, and the likes of the diesels as well, they won't be going to the sky off of this ship. She's a good ship as well. I've got a lot of time for her. I like her. I'm growing more and more fond of her every day. Yeah, I am. She's good, though. She's good.
How far off taxiing is he? Brilliant. That's all working out nicely.
Whizzer, the first to execute an SRVL, will be the first to drop bombs from the Queen Elizabeth.
Launch the jet.
Tiny left. She comes. Turn 11.9. It's a good axle.
25 on Flyco, approved. Stores, jettison, downwind, next bars.
Whizzer lines up for his bomb run. and every move is monitored and measured by civilian scientists.
I'm getting permission slowly but surely from the ship to do it on this next pass round. Yeah, you guys ready?
Affirm. Affirm. Controls ready.
In 5, 4, 3, 1. Releasing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all the bombs are away.
The fighter jet warship combination is beginning to realize its full lethal potential.
That puts us in a very, very sound place to protect ourselves and maintain peace, which ultimately is what it's all about. It's really maintaining the peace. We don't want to use it. I personally don't want to see it used. If it has to be used, I get it.
1 away, 2 away.
I want it to be seen as the fighter you really don't want to go up against. It's the deterrent to prevent the war and keep the peace. And that would just be icing on the cake for me. That would be, the cherry on top. That would be perfect. That's where I'd like to be.
Bomb runs complete. HMS Queen Elizabeth heads north towards New York.
You want a cheese and tomato?
But down in the galleys, Wes is having a bit of a crisis.
25 boxes of chips we've done tonight. People go crazy on Friday night because of chips. We're trying to be healthy, but the minute you put chips on, it's all going, it's going.
It's not only chips that are running low, food stocks generally are dwindling, but that's all part of the plan.
100 now, so we've got an hour of endurance on top of them, and lay 4 all on dispatcher.
They need to prove they can replenish their food stores whilst underway. It'll be vital when they go to war. So they're now going to try their biggest ever VERTREP, or vertical replenishment, and they're doing this with American supply ships, a chance for the two navies to work together.
Forward down 40, good line. Okay, that's 80 feet there. Forward down 20.
Area of expertise of mine.
How many is that now? 4 now. Go down, say 9, 18, we've done 4 loads. Big day for logistics department. Today is VERTREP day, vertical replenishment. We've got about 150 pallets of food that's going to come across. British food, the baked beans, British bacon, everything that we get used to on board. Although sometimes it's nice to have some of the American food. So pick the penchant for American ice cream, American pancake syrup.
Order right, 2 o'clock.
Plan's a complicated issue. It seems like it's running on rails, but of course the team's always there planning weeks and months. In fact, we started planning this day about 5-6 months ago.
Cheers, line 1 clear.
I've got the Haribo out, not only because I got up at 3:15 this morning, but every pallet is Haribo. However, 150 pallets later, I'm not quite sure my sugar intake will take it.
Changing intentions for 120, now going to...
A heavy pallet of food will be transferred every 3 minutes for a total of 8 hours.
It's coming in fast and furious. We were a little slow to start with. We found our pace, we found our rhythm. So we've got an American ship, we've got Royal Navy aircraft, and we've got a US Navy aircraft in the mix as well. It's now coming in at real pace, which is great. Basically everything we need for the next few weeks at sea to sustain us after we've got New York. So at the moment we're getting all our frozen meats mostly, and then we've got all sorts of fruit, vegetables, salads, flour, rice, pasta, everything we need to feed everyone for about 3 weeks. Produce over 4,000 meals a day on board. That requires quite a lot of food, more food than any ship I've ever served on before. It's just a different magnitude of scale. It's really good fun and a different challenge, and it's a good challenge, and that's what I'm loving. But it's the first time we've done anything of this scale, so it's successful. By the end of the day, I'll sleep happy tonight.
By that time, enough food for 96,000 meals will have been loaded on board. It's a hard day's work for everyone, but tomorrow they'll get their reward. A port visit everyone's been looking forward to since leaving Portsmouth. Well, nearly everyone.
Wanted to go to New York, and everyone thought that they would never come. But finally, it's upon us. I'm excited to be going to New York, but then I'm sad at the same time, knowing the fact that the captain will be leaving in New York. He's been by far the best captain that I've ever worked for. Because we do have an understanding, and we appreciate each other, like, a lot. And I'll go out of my way for him.
Okay, you tell us where you want him.
Glenn Peters is my rocket, see? Yeah, he's a first-class leading hand, but he's brilliant with the young stewards. Great leader as well, and strong man from St. Vincent. He's just a wonderful human being. He looks after me very well.
And if there's a that I should know.
He's a Rasta by background, so he doesn't worry about anything, which is quite good for me. So if I'm having a bit of a moment, he just looks at me and tells me to calm down. Hang on, I wouldn't actually be telling you to calm down, but he's a great leveler. He's got a great outlook on life.
That's the same. Temptation, loving, gay, spinners all the way.
So this morning I ran out my favourite salt minute crisps, and I said to him just now, I said, can you nip down the naffy, lady steward, and get me some crisps? And he said, I've got them already. And he just lined them up in here, look, like that. So it's like a magazine of crisps, and my favourite dried mango. He tells me that mango is a thing to have, so he's got me hooked on this bloody stuff now. Dried mango, very healthy. And of course, on the deployment, when you go away from the UK for months on end, you get to know your fellow man really very well indeed, which is good, and that adds to the fighting resilience of that platform, because the more you know your fellow man or your fellow woman on board your ship, the more you'll go out of your way to not let them down. And that's why people do extraordinary things, whether it's a peacetime fire or indeed in combat.
The Queen Elizabeth approaches the Hudson Estuary, gateway to New York City.
Starboard 5, steer 292.
Starboard 5, steer 292.
New beach there as well.
This will be Jerry Kidd's final foreign port. In a few days, he hands over command to a new captain.
My last entry into harbour as a seagoing captain. I'm just looking at the New York skyline now, and right on my right-hand side here is Manhattan, and you can see the Empire State Building just over there. It's very, very special, very iconic, but this is what the ship's all about, which is showing the British flag abroad, showing her that whilst we've been flying jets all week, we in a heartbeat can change to diplomacy and soft power. But for me today, very, very special indeed. Yeah, very, quite emotional, I have to say.
A sort of elemental thing really up here. We're just about to go into this huge harbour under this enormous bridge, all this freight of human life on board, all the stories that we know something about. It's very moving. When Frank was playing, I was just welling up.
Wes, we're coming to New York, but you can't go and see it.
No, I can't see it because we are working. Some of the young lads have gone up, but I've got to work down here. I'm on lunch, dinner, and then breakfast.
Always working,
Always working. Someone has to. We've got functions on for the next 4 days. All the chefs are working flat out. Got a lot of VIPs coming. The ambassador will be on board as well.
Great, isn't it? Have you seen the view? Splendid, isn't it? Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Kind of a cheeky little perk being here as well, you know what I mean? The good end.
HMS Queen Elizabeth sails to within touching distance of Lower Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty. She is the biggest warship ever to come this close to the Big Apple. And the members of her ship's company are as excited to see New York as New York is to see them.
So it's a big day for New York, big day for the ship, it's a big day for the crew,
and the captain and the leadership, and they have to be very proud of what they've accomplished in this ship. It's an amazing ship.
And she's here to endorse the US-UK relationship.
Oh, I think that's really what it's all about. And it projects the power that we need in the world. In a dangerous world, you have to have these kind of assets, these kind of platforms to do the things that we all want, which is to maintain our security and our prosperity.
The Queen Elizabeth will now transform from a ship of war to a floating embassy, a conference centre and concert hall.
Yesterday was boat tripping and today is a canapé champagne. So every day is definitely different.
We're getting there, we're getting there.
One of the first VIPs to arrive is Gavin Williamson, the Secretary of State for Defence. He's here to launch a major international forum on cyber warfare that will bring together scientists, businessmen, and the military in one room or hangar. There could hardly be a more appropriate venue. Meanwhile, sailors on leave are heading ashore to experience the Big Apple. 100 of them have been invited as VIPs themselves to the famous New York Jets.
It's pretty spectacular, isn't it? It's going to be a good day. I'm looking forward to it. Fully chuffed that we're here, fully chuffed. It's going to be mad.
Very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
100 British sailors are introduced to 80,000 American football fans.
Here, everybody's like, oh, you're British? It's like, yeah, I'm British. Like, oh, wow, and thanks and all this. It's like, wow. It hits you quite hard. It's really nice, unbelievable. Like everybody's so polite and respectful, and the manners are unbelievable. These people don't know who we are, but they go out of their way to say thank you and have a conversation. You couldn't ask for more. And we don't know if we are as well received at home as we are here. I suppose it's just a different culture. I think it's a spectacular display of politeness and manners. It's great.
And you guys want pictures?
Just me.
There is no problem too big that we can't overcome.
Back on the ship, the Forum on Cyber Warfare is underway.
Of exposing reckless cyber attacks by the likes of Russian intelligence services around the world. And we know that Great Britain alone is engaged in fending off more than 10 serious cyber attacks every single week.
Different kind of AI that is...
Some issues are discussed in open forum, some behind closed doors. Heading for Lower Manhattan, Wes Khan is having his first taste of New York. He's on a personal pilgrimage.
Burning like a flame, waiting on the sun to go down, sun to go down. Once again, travel safe and have a remarkable day.
Thank you. You had a good voice.
Thank you very much.
It's got that deep soul voice. It's nice, mate. Really nice, man.
It's incredible. It's the first time I've been here. I don't know, it's quite touching. When it first happened, actually I was in training. I was doing my basic training, and it was a bit bad for me back then because we saw it live on telly. We stopped training and all that, and then I had to my guys who I was training with were not really happy with me because I was a Muslim and what have the Muslims have done that. And then I was separated for a few days. It was hard. I was about to leave the Navy, and I thought I might just put my notice in and go, because everywhere you went, you had that people looked at you in a suspicious way. But after that, everything was all right. People forget that there were also Muslims in this building who died as well. According to the teachings of Islam, whatever happened was wrong, shouldn't have happened, because we as Muslims, we believe that you save one life, you've saved the whole of humanity, and you take one life, you've taken the whole humanity. So I personally condemn what happened. We'll let the Almighty Creator judge them on the Day of Judgment.
Glenn Peters had the option of going ashore if he wanted, but he didn't.
I'd rather be on board, especially being the captain last few days also. Just want to spend all the time while he's here. My motto is, if the captain is on board, then I should be on board. I mean, thinking back, it seems like an eternity since I've been with him. And now it's all boils down to 2 days. It has been phenomenal. And just an understanding between him and I. Then we could understand each other with our words. I know what he wants when he wants it. And he knows not to worry because it's in hand. Glenn is around. I'm feeling quite sad already. But knowing that it's only 2 more days to go and then he'll be gone. Yeah.
For the next 2 nights, Queen Elizabeth becomes the Manhattan venue to die for. Glittering cocktail parties for a host of ambassadors, diplomats, government ministers, and military top brass.
The armed forces of the United Kingdom and the United States of America have always shared a very special bond with each other that has stood for generations.
I'm honoured to have attended the International Trade Conference held here today, the first ever international diplomatic event to be held on board this magnificent ship.
I will always be deeply honoured at having been the first Sea Lord at the point at which this ship enters service. They've built something special here, a sense in all the ship's company that they're part of something really important, and you can see the effect it has on them, whether it's the crusty old Captain Jerry Kidd, now commanding his 3rd aircraft carrier and of course leaving this week, or whether it's the young sailors who are in their very first job at sea. They're proud to wear that cap tully and they know they're part of something special.
This has been a very successful visit to a key ally. The first of countless diplomatic stops the Queen Elizabeth will make all over the world during her lifetime. Finally, after 2.5 years as commanding officer, it's time for Jerry Kidd to say goodbye to his ship's company.
Okay, everyone. Firstly, most importantly, I wanted to get you all together today to say goodbye to you all. This ship is all about delivering air power, sure. But without the chefs, the warfare, the engineers, every one of you, this would not work. This ship is now the future of the Royal Navy. We are back on the world stage. We are back into power projection operations, and we are back in protecting your families and the British people at home and our interests around the world. When we go into combat on this ship, and I think we will, it is absolutely incumbent on us all to know what we're doing, to know our jobs, and do it professionally and properly. I know you'll serve the new captain well. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, but this ship has been something truly special. Look after each other, and I'll see you in the future at some point. Many thanks.
So today is the day.
Yes, the day's finally here. Well, hand her over. Just a bit emotional, I have to say. Captain Cook Priest is on his way. In fact, he's in the boat right now, coming from Manhattan. What a way for him to join. I think, is there any greater symbolism than having the Union Jack on a British aircraft carrier, sitting in the waters of the key ally, and the leaders of the free world with the Statue of Liberty just sitting there reminding us what this is all about, which is rule-based orders, protecting our populations at home, and going out on the world stage and doing what we need to do. I suppose I look back personally, if I could allow a moment, and to say, after 3.5 decades of being in the Navy, it was all for this ship. And that's what I realise now. My commands before running the Naval Officers College down in Dartmouth, my previous aircraft carrier commands, albeit smaller, were, I suppose, in hindsight, all stepping stones for being prepared to take this great ship to sea and lead the way, getting Queen Elizabeth up on its legs. So it's been a complete privilege. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I'm not sure if my wife would agree, but...
Oh, dear, come in.
Hi, Gary, how are you?
Nice to see you. Gary Smith, yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. Nick, come in. Do you want a cup of tea or a coffee?
Yeah, I'd love a coffee actually. Coffee, yeah, white or black. With a very small sugar. Yeah, thank you.
Lovely, you're right. Yeah, really well.
Good morning, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
Which one is it? That
You're
one?
the CEO. I think you're the CEO.
Oh,
have we got 2 CEO modes here, Glenn, have we? So
yeah, I have to say, I haven't actually got quite there yet.
Well, I was just saying to the guys, there's a Royal Naval tradition, of course, we're only allowed to be on board for about 45 minutes together.
Yeah, indeed.
You can't have 2 captains on the same ship,
No.
but very warm welcome.
Thank you very much.
The new captain will be bringing his own steward too, so within minutes, Glenn will be returning to general duties.
Highly emotional, and it's the future of the Royal Navy sitting here, and to give you this ship now is a complete privilege, so very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Anything else you need? You have the ship.
I have the ship. Thank you very much indeed.
Best of luck, Captain, and she's all yours.
Thank you very much.
Glenn, I could not have done this without your support, and I mean that. So best of luck, Glenn. Love to Claudia when you see her next in a few months' time. Gary, it's been a pleasure. Keep in touch, both of you. Keep those standards going, Glenn. The very best, the most professional team I've had in all my commands, and I mean that. So well done.
Thanks.
Enjoy, and I'll see you soon. You know where I am. Stop by for a drink.
Hi, guys. Have a good time in Virginia. Thanks, guys. Very kind of you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Look at that. Isn't that a great view? That's what it's all about for me. It's the sailors that make these things work. Great privilege leading them.
Chris, see you soon. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, privilege. Take her on to better things next year, won't you? Yeah, thanks. Bish, what can I say? But bless you. Bless you. Wings, we'll see you again very soon. And Jenny, yeah, well done. The rose at the end of a long line of thorns. Guys, it's been a complete privilege. Serve the new captain as well as you have me, and he'll be laughing kitbacks. I've passed on that you're all very average, and he's looking forward to knowing how you are. But well done, guys. See you soon. Have a good trip back.
he's gone. He's gone, he's gone, he's going.
Jerry Kidd will be returning home to take up the role of Admiral in Command of the UK Maritime Forces. During this deployment, there have been over 200 launches and landings of the F-35s, 20 shipborne rolling vertical landings, and nearly 100 bomb drops. The F-35 and the Queen Elizabeth have now been proven compatible. The test pilots have identified the safety envelope of the aircraft, its operational limits. They can now hand over flying to frontline pilots who will in 2019 start to train for combat.
It's been great. It has been an eye-opener as well. I say, having the F-35, watching them launch and recover, especially doing the SRBLs, which I never thought I'd see in my time in the Navy. It's been brilliant, it's been amazing. Like, can't believe what we've actually achieved, you know what I mean? We've smashed it.
You're proud of Britain's biggest warship, then?
Oh yeah, definitely. I say, there's nothing like it, you know what I mean? Being in Norfolk alongside all the Americans, and then when you see this pull up alongside it, how much more beautiful she is. Do you know what I mean? The Americans are looking at us for once with envious eyes.
After 4 grueling but eventful months, HMS Queen Elizabeth crosses back over the Atlantic and returns home just in time for Christmas. The ship's company is now bonded into an effective fighting force, a seaborne family of men and women, now firm shipmates. But right now, it's time for them to be reunited with their loved ones.
This is the missus and the kids. They're all happy to see me.
In 2021, HMS Queen Elizabeth will embark on her first operational deployment. This will not be for training. She will be ready for action and primed for combat. That will be the first of many deployments for the Queen Elizabeth over the next 50 years, her expected lifespan. Many thousands of sailors will serve on her in that time, although her final crew has yet to be born.
Into the lagoon, manatees need feeding. One final journey to the Americas with Simon Reeve next on BBC Two. Farewells in Poland, behind enemy lines. Sunday night drama World on Fire is about to start over on BBC One.